Hello, John. You're here to talk about organisations' operational priorities for 2013.
Good afternoon, Gary. As you know, NelsonHall does about 500 interviews with senior executives in major organisations to identify their business issues, operational priorities and purchasing intentions for the coming year. Thought it'd be useful to recap our findings for 2013.
Okay, so what is the leading operational priority then for organisations in 2013?
Well, the issues themselves probably haven't changed very much over the last 3 years. What's interesting is that the sequence is changing. So the top business issue that's come out for 2013 is actually improving business agility. And that's led to the top operational outcome sought by executives for 2013, being improved standardisation of processes across both geographies and across business units. That's having an interesting then knock-on effect in terms of the pricing methods sought. People have been quite resistant to moving away from FTE pricing, but actually to get that agility and to get the pricing on a unit and matching their business volumes, then certainly in the mature contracts, there's much more appetite for unit-based pricing now than there was 1 or 2 years ago.
Okay, what's next?
Okay, so the next one, and this probably has been second for a few years, is actually retaining the existing customers. And that's very heavily and increasingly followed by actually improving cross-selling and upselling into those. So very much about maximising that potential from the existing customer base. Not too much changed in terms of new business. Everyone knows that's going to be difficult, but actually the customer management services, customer experience is becoming much more important. The use of social media to actually retain and get a bit more money out of people has actually moved on quite a long way in the last year.
Okay, what about the past 3 years? How has the pattern of operational priorities changed?
Okay, I think what's interesting is that whereas 3 years ago cost reduction was totally at the top of the list, it's still important, but a lot of the heavy shifts or heavy cost takeouts already taken place. So cost reductions moved from first place to third. That business agility and standardisation, okay, which is giving you some cost reduction, is there. Let's get the processes right, is up at the top. Then in second, it's maximising that revenue from the existing client base. After that, then comes cost reduction, and that's very closely followed now by getting more revenues out of the growth markets, out of the emerging economies. So very much those four been around for a while, but it's interesting that clean up processes and get more money out of the existing customer base has overtaken cost reduction.
Okay, finally, what are the implications for BPO vendors?
I think the big implication is actually that horizontal services haven't gone away. There's always been a lot of talk of industry specific, and the BPO market has tended to be dominated by industry specific. If anything, in 2012 we saw some of the industry specific fading away as the financial services industry did less, and the horizontal came through much more strongly. So the manufacturing sector, the retail sector, standardising their processes, the retail going online, putting much more outsourcing beyond customer experience. So it's not all about industry specific, that horizontal stuff is there. What we also saw is people moving from that regional standardisation into global standardisation for the first time. So a good example being BP. A lot of the big organisations in F&A have done it at a regional level. The Americas, Europe, Asia Pac. What we saw for the first time last year was that now being taken to a global level.